Now, lawmakers are trying to fast track
have lifelong
to support the health.
The House and Senate.
It says following Senate.
Hurry up.
They just banned a mom for taking pictures, not for committing a crime, not for breaking the law, but for showing parents what's really happening inside our school systems with our children. And now she's taking them to court. Kansas just overruled the governor to ban gender transition treatments to minors. This fight is about to explode. The media is melting down over book bans, but what's the real story? And the left, in their last-ditch effort, scrambling to file lawsuits. If you think this mom should have never been banned, hit that like button and subscribe if you're tired of the insanity. And don't just sit in the courtroom, smack that bell like a judge, dropping the gavel.
There have been 42 books sent for review.
Every book needs to be vetted. If you don't take action, you're actually complicit in the grooming and the distribution of porn to children.
Carrie Schmidt's been on a mission, y'all. She challenged 42 books in the Gardner-Edgerton School District, and 15 of those books were pulled. The school.
I assume I know what the speaker's going to talk about, so there have been 42 books sent for review, all except 4 from the same person. Of the 42 books sent for review, so far 15 have been pulled from the school, librarians, or committee. While I don't disagree that a good portion of the books on the review list are not appropriate for public schools, Ms. Schmidt needs to understand that, again, while what she is attempting to do is not entirely bad, it has gummed up the process, taken an immense amount of time from our staff that should have been focused on weeding books, teaching our students, and digging into the data to help improve our students' success and scores. It is entirely disingenuous to almost single-handedly bog down a transparent system with up to 14 years worth of reviews and then shout from the podium that we are taking too long and not doing anything about it. She just gets pleasure from reading books with questionable content to this audience.
And here we are still talking about books years later. Don't you get it? If I can't go to a school board meeting and read the books out loud of which you think are appropriate for our children to read, then how is it appropriate for them to be in our libraries, period? We've seen many parents removed from school board meetings for reading sexually explicit books out loud. It's not about banning books, it's about age-appropriate material. And if you want to walk around that big old elephant in the room just because there's a back door, it doesn't mean the elephant isn't there.
Where there are minors listening, most of the books were not at the elementary level, so they wouldn't have had access originally. Instead, again, it just feels like she wants the shock attention that is caused by reading the out-of-context sexual clips to the minors and adults in the audience.
These books literally describe sexual acts, and that's not education, that's called porn. How is removing explicit content from our children's libraries the same as censorship? Can someone make that make sense?
I know she means well, and I don't disagree that we can improve our libraries, make way for better and more appropriate books, but how it's being handled is costing this community valuable time, effort, and unfortunately valuable people who didn't cause the issue, but have been dragged through the mud by this continued and disingenuous rhetoric that we are doing it intentionally or just not doing it all.
For anybody who has kids at home watching this, please pause it for just a minute while she puts on her performance.
I had extra time. That was 10 seconds.
I'll just start at the end. Every book needs to be vetted. You cannot solely rely on professional judgment because that is how inappropriate content got into the district. If you don't take action, you're actually complicit in the grooming and the distribution of porn to children. So with that said, and I know that Greg wants to change this, but here's 25 more book reviews, requests, and books that you guys could have found on your own and possibly have done something about it or vetted it on your own. So that's it. Hey, Greg, next time call me and we can have a great conversation, and I'm okay with that.
The school district was already irritated with her, but then she took a picture. Not a private record, not a student's work, a picture of a public classroom door. And that was supposedly enough for them to ban her from school property completely. And the excuse the school gave was material disruption. So let me get this straight. You can show kids sexually explicit books, but a photo of a classroom door is where you draw the line? Now she's taking them to court. And trust me, this is just getting started.
Kids in Kansas no longer will be able to change their sex.
Kansas lawmakers just went nuclear. They overrode the governor's veto, banning gender transition treatments for minors. And activists, they're already calling it genocide. Kansas says no more surgeries and no more puberty blockers, and they'll wean those off who are on them currently And if doctors want to violate this, they could be sued or lose their medical licenses.
Lawmakers overriding the governor's veto of a ban on gender-affirming care today. Our Capitol Bureau Chief Rebecca Chung joins us live right now from the State House with a reaction from lawmakers. Rebecca?
Yeah, David, some outrage here from opponents at the State House who say the next step
And here comes phase two, the lawsuits.
is legal challenges. Then the overwhelming majority of lawmakers, though, pushing this bill through, mostly Republican. We had 31-9 in the Senate, 85-34 in the House. And supporters say it's about protecting kids from making life-changing decisions when it comes to their body. But critics say it's not lawmakers' job to get in between a patient and their doctor.
And yet, they have no issue forcing vaccines on kids. It's funny how that works, isn't it?
This bill would ban gender transition treatments for kids, so that means no surgeries, no puberty blockers, and doctors who violate the law could get sued or lose their license. We spoke to both sides today. Here's what they had to say.
Now let's get ahead of the herd here. They'll try and call it a civil rights issue. Meanwhile, no one's stopping adults from doing what they want.
I think it gets at issues of freedom of expression and freedom of speech. I also think it has a lot of considerations as far as just basic health. I think legislators like to cosplay as medical professionals, and it's incredibly disrespectful to the community and to actual medical professionals.
We don't let children have tattoos. We don't let children drive. We don't let children drink alcohol. We don't let children join the military. There's a reason for that. And so as a state, we do ban certain activities of children because they don't have the mental capability to even consent for medical treatment.
Exactly. Kids can't get tattoos. They can't drive. They can't join the military. They can't buy alcohol. They can't smoke. And don't you think it's for a reason? But we're supposed to let them make life-altering medical decisions. Maybe this does have something to do with the parents. If we've proven time and time again that children don't make responsible decisions, then how would it be all right to allow them to make this decision?
Now, this bill would go into effect immediately upon publication in the Register, so most likely within a week. But we're told there is an off-ramp built into this bill. It's about several months, giving patients some time to wean off of any medications. And Kansas is now joining 26 other states who have similar restrictions in place. For now, reporting live at the Capitol, I'm Rebecca Chung.
All right, Rebecca, thank you.
Listen, I'm a father, and my job is to protect my kids from people who think they know better than parents. And if that bothers you, God knows, God cares, because I don't. Smash that like button if you think parents should have a say. And drop a flag in the comments if you think the government has lost it. Drop a line. Tell us what's going on in your state, because I know it's not just here. And if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. It supports us more than you know.